I'm sure many of us know someone, if not you, who's felt uncomfortable talking about religion and money or just have feelings of shame or guilt about it. Welcome to Yahweh's Money, a podcast where we discuss the crossroads or intersections of religion and money. We're going to go deep into topics like tithing and saving and debt and so much more from the religious view. I'm your host, Shay Cook, CEO and founder, Crusaders for Change, LLC, and our co-host is Vanessa McNelly, one of our financial counselor, coach, educators. Let's talk about God and money. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Yahweh's Money. Today, we're talking about summer, Staycay or Vacay. And I'm Shay Cook, one of your co-hosts. Hey, Vanessa.
Hi, Shay. I'm so excited about this because you know me and travel. Like, this
Yes,
is my thing.
this
So
is your thing. I know.
I'm excited. Yep.
And I don't travel as much as Vanessa. I'm actually jealous and envious of that, and I have to do better. My sister called me out on it another day, and she's like, "Really, you need to get it together." I'm like, "You're so right." But we're about to go on a vacation soon, and I'm
Yeah.
excited about this episode as well because as the summer season gets into full swing, many families are getting ready to get away for the summer. However, this year, a third of American households are staying back because they simply can't afford it due to inflation, which is crazy, and increasing prices. And of the ones that are traveling, 80% are making money conscious changes to those plans, such as choosing less expensive accommodations or taking a staycay instead of a vacay. So, Vanessa, what's the difference?
Well, so a staycation is when you kind of stay at home
Mm-hmm.
and you do day trips
Yeah.
from your home. So you're not having that initial cost of, going to a hotel. So a lot of people do staycations and they go to hotels, I've heard
Mm-hmm.
as well. But I think the actual meaning, as we were talking about earlier, is staying at home and doing day trips and doing
Exactly.
things that you can do from your home. And as we
Mm-hmm.
know, a vacation is getting away.
Getting
So,
away doesn't
uh
really,
huh,
yeah, or going overnight accommodations and
exactly.
away. Yeah. That's,
Hmm.
yeah, cool. So, how do we still have a nice getaway without breaking the bank? I mean, there's a lot of tips and tricks out there, but
Mhm.
how have you done it personally since you travel a lot?
So, to me, travel is always a game.
Mm,
I think a lot of things with money is a game
yeah.
for me. I want to see how cheaply I can do things.
Yeah.
Like in the past, if I wanted to go somewhere and my partner was like, well, we don't have the money for that. My answer is, if I can do it for XYZ, can we go? And I would find a way to do that.
Oh, wow.
So, I think it's just really being able to take some time, do your research. There's so many great websites out there
Mm-hmm.
that can help you save money. Because you don't have to have the best of the best on a vacation. You can still have just as much fun, with having something that's not as nice sometimes. Like I stay in hostels a lot of
Mm.
times when I travel overseas, but I get a private room with a private bathroom.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just a lot cheaper
Yeah.
than going to a regular hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just maybe doing some research, talk to people who travel a lot. If you have friends that go to the place that you want to go to often, talk to them about it too, because there are so many tips and tricks. But you just really have to figure out where you want to go first and foremost, I think is number one.
That is true. And definitely
Hmm.
starting early to save for that trip. If you can have a
Yep.
vacation savings, I know I do. I save throughout the year for my vacations. Buy your
Yep.
tickets ahead of time, buy vacation packages to save, use travel rewards. If you're getting those credit card rewards, don't forget to
Hmm.
use those. Compare prices like Vanessa's saying. Look at the menu of prices ahead of time to budget and make your own meals. I know when we
Yeah.
travel certain places, we make sure most of the time that we have a kitchen so we can prepare our
Hmm.
breakfast at least and then go out and eat snacks or have snacks in the room or
Hmm.
purchase lunch and dinner outside of
Yeah.
that. But trying to be able to cook if you want to. I know some people's like, I ain't cooking on vacation.
Hmm.
Okay, I understand that. But it definitely
Yeah.
a staycation,
Yeah.
you can bring snacks with you to different places and pack it up. Like I know every time we used to go to like Six Flags when we lived in Georgia or anywhere over the years of traveling with my father, my mom always went and got a bucket chicken and made the sides
Yeah.
and had water. So we had our
Hmm.
fried chicken with her
Yeah.
sides that she had
Yeah.
made. And I just remember that as hilarious. So, and, and then traveling with a group to divide expenses. I've heard of people going on these extravagant trips and having, but with a big group of people, 10 or 20 people,
Hmm.
so they can divide the expenses or just travel on weekdays. We try to do that a
Exactly.
lot. We travel mostly during like Monday through Friday, try to stay away from
Mhm.
Saturday, Sunday, or
Mhm.
have that in part as part of it, because that gets expensive if you're on the weekday,
Yeah.
on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and if you're gonna fly, the two cheapest days of the week are gonna be Tuesday and Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna fly somewhere, and then if you book your airline ticket at least 6 weeks out,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it starts to get more expensive. Is that 6 week mark? So,
Mm.
planning ahead is definitely a big part of this. So, if you're not a planner, you may want to become a planner if you want
Exactly.
to travel more.
Me and my husband, we definitely vacation because we like the
Yeah.
luxury vacations because we work so hard, but we save for it. We try not to use
Mm-hmm.
credit and cards, and when we do, we pay
Yeah.
them off. But
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody told me that to get a first class ticket, if you do it at Tuesday or Wednesday after 10, you can get it for like really cheap
Mm-hmm.
than it
Yeah.
usually is, which I never knew that. But we always try to buy our tickets and airline tickets on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or travel on
Exactly.
Tuesdays and
Mm-hmm.
Wednesdays too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that's something that I'll do too. I always book an economy ticket
Mm.
when I'm traveling overseas. But, a lot of times if they have unsold seats,
Mm-hmm.
you can get an upgrade when you check in for your flight.
Oh yeah.
And it's so much cheaper. And
Mm-hmm.
I've done that a few times to get a
Nice.
business class seat. Because to me, it's like, okay, if I'm going to travel overnight on a 10-hour flight, if I can get there well rested,
Yeah.
that's
It
priceless.
really
Oh,
is.
absolutely.
So true. So get this, according to a 2023 Bloomberg report, less than half Americans use up all their vacation days. How dare them, Shay?
Mm,
I mean, I'm a business owner now. I don't have business vacation days, but back in the day, I was one of those, to a point I used to have to sell my vacation because I would lose it if I didn't, like, or give it away. And I'm like, who does that? Like,
yeah,
Americans, like at
not
least half
me.
of
No.
them. Not you. You were traveling, and I know a lot of people like you, Vanessa, that
Hmm.
actually
Hmm.
would use their leave. I'm like, no, I'm using my leave. But then
Yeah.
a lot of people don't. That's really sad.
It is. And I hate that we have a culture that almost encourages that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of other cultures and countries, they have a minimum of 4 weeks a year.
Yeah.
You go away for a whole month somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And you disconnect, and it's good for you, and it's good for the business too.
Yeah, it really is.
But we're taught that we are what we do in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of ways, and if we go away, we're going to be forgotten, or we're not going to feel like we're needed, or we
Mm.
could lose our job, or any of those things. I wish people could see the value in
Yeah.
taking a break.
That's so true. And guess what? It's in
Hmm.
the word, because in Matthew 11:28 through 30, it says, Then Jesus said, Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. So not only should we take that burden to God and give it to him, he throughout the
Hmm.
word you hear him he took time. Jesus took time to rest,
Exactly.
to pray, and we don't do that enough. We
Mm-mm. We
don't.
don't. We sure don't.
Oh my God, we have a lot of work to do, Americans. so, so have you ever taken a staycation, and what are some ideas you would recommend for a staycation?
So I have never taken a
Oh,
staycation.
okay.
My in my mind, if I'm at home, I don't feel like I'm really getting a break.
Me too.
And for me, like I need to disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people who do staycations,
Mm-hmm.
especially families when they
Yeah.
have smaller children, because you go on vacation and you have to take everything for a pack and play, and the baby doesn't sleep as well because you're all in the
Mm.
same room, and all these things that really kind of deter you from
Mm-hmm.
getting as much rest while you're gone. But I've always felt like it's a waste of a day if I stay at home, even though that's not really true. I know that's
Yeah.
not true, but for me, I want a break and I want an escape. And
Mm-hmm.
for me to have that, I go away.
Yeah.
But I think that's also because when I'm at home, I do little things during the
Mm-hmm.
week, or I go to the movie, or I go to the pool, or,
Mm-hmm.
those things that a lot of people don't do during
Yeah.
the work week because they're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I've never done that, but I think there's so many incentives because you don't have that cost of a hotel. Number one, that
Mm-hmm.
can save hundreds or thousands of dollars, and you also get a lot of local discounts for things
So true.
when you are local,
Mm-hmm.
so it can save a lot of money that way too.
Yeah, I mean, I've done them here and there. The main one was during the pandemic where we couldn't go anywhere or
Yep.
we shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
gone anywhere. And so I went and bought some like beach chairs, put them under my deck, little table, rug, beach gear everywhere because I love going to the beach. And just my husband made like pina
Mm-hmm.
coladas and it was fun. But then I ended up giving my beach
Mm-hmm.
chairs to my neighbor because I never used them
Yeah.
after that because I like to go to the actual beach and get away. And
Right.
like you said, once I get on a plane, it's just a different. And once I get on a car and go to a
Exactly.
hotel, it just allows me to just separate myself because when I'm home, I want to wash clothes, I want to clean,
Right.
I want to work, I
Right.
want to do this. And I never
Mm-hmm.
am able to just shut down and say, no,
Yeah.
I don't need to clean today, even though I do clean, keep a clean hotel room. But,
Right.
but I just yeah, I just, it to me is hard as well, but I definitely recommend it for those that, unfortunately can't
Yeah.
go away or don't want to and want to stay somewhere local.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and let's think about people who, have elderly parents.
Mm-hmm.
They really can't go away,
True.
but they could take a day,
Mm-hmm.
for themselves. And I encourage people to do that any chance they get.
Mm-hmm.
But, at the same time, when we're home, I feel like, yeah, you can't get away. You still
Mm-hmm.
have to cook. You still have to, wash the sheets, whatever it is. But when you're gone, somebody else does all that for you.
Yeah,
So, and there are ways to do it super, on a low budget if you
true.
want to. It just depends on, what you're prepared for, what you saved for, and what you want to do.
Exactly. And do something you enjoy. Explore a nearby city, go glamping, which is when you go, what, I guess take a camper out or something and you stay in a really nice camper versus going in an actual
Mm-hmm.
tent. I hear about that a lot. Go for a hike, do a
Mm-hmm.
scavenger hunt, visit a state park, do a local spa resort, do a beach weekend, and check out Groupon deals and etc. So there's many different
Exactly.
ideas in Maryland and Georgia where Vanessa is, Florida where our producer is going to be, different, websites
Mm-hmm.
where it's like visitmaryland.org or exploregeorgia.org or visitflorida.com that have many different things you can do for free, for cheap, or
Mm-hmm.
just discounts as well. So there's a lot of great resources out there to help with that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it was our podcast producer and I were talking about how what happens though with delayed gratification versus instant gratification. So
Okay.
do you think can affect your enjoyment or fulfillment of your vacation if, for example, like my husband and I, we
Mm-hmm.
saved for a year, 2 years. One
Mm-hmm.
time I saved for 10 years before we went to Hawaii, so I
Mm-hmm.
can have this amazing trip. But I know a lot of people like to be spontaneous and just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, you know what, we're going on a trip this weekend and just go.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
that delayed gratification is really resisting the immediate fulfillment of a desire in hopes of either increasing fulfillment later or obtaining a better outcome versus instant
Mm-hmm.
gratification, which is seeking out as much pleasure as possible in the short term without regarding or regard to obtaining a better outcome in the long run. So that can
Yeah.
actually maybe affect how your vacation or staycation goes, right? Potentially.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And I do both.
Yeah.
I do spontaneous and I do, delayed gratification as well. But I think when you do things quickly,
Mm-hmm.
your expectations are lower.
Mm.
So you can have, more of a fun time, even with less sometimes because, it is kind of last minute. So you
Mm.
haven't had time to put in all the effort and the time and the planning. And I know sometimes, when I've gone places and I've really planned, it's not been what I expected either. Uh, sometimes it's been absolutely amazing and
Yeah.
you've really taken the time for things, but that could happen with any type of trip you have ever. So I think there's beauty in both of those things. I have a method that I use for travel too. So I have my budget set out for the month
Mm-hmm.
and I have, I spend $400 on this for that month or $300 on groceries or whatever it is. And my goal is to spend less than that. And whatever I have left over goes into my travel fund.
Mm.
So I always have something kind of set aside.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it is last minute, I have money put aside for it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing is not just putting something on your credit card and saying I'll pay for it later.
Yeah.
But if you know that's who you are
Mm-hmm.
and you like to do last minute, spontaneous trips, you can still be prepared to a degree and have some money set aside for that so you can enjoy that, not have to worry. But, you can still enjoy the spontaneity of it too.
That's a
So,
good point. Yeah, I save
yeah.
throughout the year for a vacation. Usually, that money is saved for the vacation coming up later for the delayed
Mhm.
gratification vacation. But there has been some times when Nate and I, my husband and I, were like, "All right, let's just go to Annapolis for the weekend. Let's just go to
Mhm.
Baltimore for the weekend. Let's go to DC for the weekend." So, and we don't usually just do it that weekend because we work crazy schedules. So usually it's 4 weeks out. So
Yeah.
that is instant for us, which some people are like, no, we're going this weekend. And then tomorrow, I'm like, okay, I can't do that. I got too much. My schedule is
Yeah.
usually booked for the 2, 3 months out. So
Yeah.
usually we're like, a couple months out. But for the longer ones, I never thought about it, like you said, like the
Mhm.
expectation, because, we're going to California soon and Disneyland to celebrate our daughter who just graduated college. Yay. And, we've been planning this for years. It feels like over a year or two. And it's like,
Yeah, it's been a long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, is this gonna be what we expected? Or, I
Mhm.
hope I'm getting my hopes up. At least we're getting
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get excited about it. I am excited about it, but I'm like, I've been to California several times. My family
Mhm.
hasn't. So that's kind of cool to experience that with them. But,
Right.
I don't know. Just delaying this gratification. I know I have to say again, I delayed Hawaii for 10 years. It was going to be Greece and then it turned into Hawaii, but that was the best trip I ever had. And
Mm.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, because we were able to do it super big because I
Mhm.
saved a lot for it.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Well, I mean, I prefer
Yeah.
delayed gratification. Prefer me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like both.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the anticipation with
Mm-hmm.
delayed gratification is wonderful too,
Yeah,
because you always have something to look forward to.
that's true.
And that is priceless in its own way.
Mm-hmm.
You have goals you can set beforehand, like if you want to lose 10 pounds before the trip or you want to save a
Exactly.
certain amount, whatever that goal is.
Yeah.
You have time to really think things through and
Mm-hmm.
find the best deal on things. But I think there's beauty in both.
Yeah,
You know,
there
I've
is.
had I've had some amazing last minute trips
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have time to plan because I am definitely a planner. And because I didn't plan, I didn't have the stress of
Mm,
planning and I didn't have the stress of, okay, we have to be here by this time because we have dinner reservations at 6 or
yeah.
whatever that is that you put on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of like, go with the flow. Let's go to the beach today. Are you hungry? Let's go grab some food. And that's wonderful too because that really helps you decompress.
That's so true.
Hmm.
That's good points. Yeah, and again in the word in Ecclesiastics 2:10-11 says, whatever my eyes wanted, I did not keep away from them. I did not keep my heart from anything that was pleasing, for my heart was pleased with all of my work. This was my reward for all of my work. Then I thought about all that my hands had done and the work I had done. I saw that it was all for nothing. It was like trying to catch the wind, and there was nothing to get for it under the sun. So I
Mm.
know this speaks to me because I do not reward myself often enough.
Right. Hmm.
I travel is something a reward to me. Also, vacations
Yeah.
are a reward to me, but sometimes I get so caught up in the work piece
Yeah.
and forget how to reward myself. Whether it's a vacation, whether it's self care, which shouldn't be a reward, it should be just an absolute. Right? It should
Right.
be doing
Right.
it anyway,
Exactly.
regardless of
Hmm.
how well you're working
Hmm.
or how hard you're working. Definitely I
Yeah.
get caught up and I need to listen to God more
Yeah.
often.
And it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, just as you just read,
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we feel like, we shouldn't do these things and
Mm,
it's not acceptable. And, we didn't, what did we do to deserve that?
yeah.
Or these people can't do that, so I shouldn't be able to do that.
Mm,
But it's okay to go to
yeah. So
nice
true.
places and have something nice or have a nice dinner. Those things are completely okay if you work hard for it,
Mm-hmm.
and you appreciate it and you make those sacrifices elsewhere.
Exactly. That is so true. Because I do feel guilty a lot of times, like when you see the news and the storms, the climate change, the poverty, the wars, the
Yeah.
political unrest, all this crap going on in the world. And I'm like, do I deserve to go on a nice trip or
Right.
stay in a nice place? I feel really bad. I was watching
Yeah.
I was actually driving to get my hair done yesterday and I noticed there was more homeless people out than I have
Mm.
never ever noticed in Columbia, Maryland and Howard
Mm.
County, which I never really seen as much as I do now. And I'm sure it's after the pandemic and everything going on. And
Yeah.
I was like, all these homeless people out here, and I'm about to go on a vacation. Like, I
Right.
feel so
Right.
guilty Like,
Mhm.
and that's probably a lot of times why I don't treat myself, because it's like I know I'm just going to continue to work hard and do,
Mhm.
we're in service to people every day through what we do, but
Mhm.
I still feel guilty spending the money that God is providing us and giving us, because I'm like other people can't. So
Yeah.
it's just that guilt and shame that I put on myself internally. That's
Right.
not good. It's okay to go on a
Yeah.
vacation. And a lot of clients that we
It
help don't treat
is.
themselves either because of the same reason.
Exactly. Right. And we have those conversations with them too
Mm-hmm.
about, it's okay to do these things. And,
Yeah.
we talk all the time about, doing too much for your kids and too much for other people. And, we don't take care of ourselves. And this is
Mm.
just another way to take care of ourselves,
Yeah.
And I know when I go on vacation too, when I see something like a homeless person or somebody asking for something or stray dogs or whatever it is, I try to take that moment and do what I can in that moment.
Mm.
Like just got back from Puerto Rico like a week and a half ago, and we had three street dogs that we literally cooked for every
Oh,
day while we were
wow.
there. And it was like, we can't do something for them every day,
Mhm.
but this week we can make it a good week for them.
Oh.
That was the thought process. The same thing with like homeless people. If I have leftovers when
Mhm.
I'm leaving a restaurant, I give it to somebody.
Oh, wow.
It's just little things you can do, and it's rewarding. When
Yeah.
I was in Finland last year, I found a homeless lady was asking for something, and we went and bought blankets for her baby, and
Oh.
it was such a good day. It was
Yeah.
not the expectation for that day,
Mhm.
but we bought groceries, we bought blankets, we bought diapers, and that was an amazing vacation day.
That's beautiful.
So,
You're a saint, Vanessa.
well,
You
those
truly
opportunities
are.
come up wherever
Yeah.
we're at.
That's so true. Yeah, and just
Yeah.
be able to be in service of people, and but also in service to yourself, not too much. You got
Yeah.
to find that balance, that healthy
Hmm.
balance for yourself, cuz you don't want to do too much and then you suffer, but then
Exactly.
so finding balance in that sacrifice and that service is very important.
Yeah.
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 So Staycay or Vacay? I mean, hopefully you get to
Mm.
do one of those this summer or both,
Yeah.
but you deserve it. You worked hard. You should be able to reward yourself and to just have fun. So
Exactly. Well, and it may be one of those years. I know with inflation, that you can't take that dream vacation,
mhm.
but there are so many fun things in every area, that we live in. I've lived in some weird, crazy places for work in the past, and I've always found something interesting and fun to do. So there's always something.
There's always
So
something.
definitely, yeah, take the time no matter what your budget is and have at least a fun couple of days.
Exactly. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of Americans, unfortunately, because of inflation and rising costs, will not be able to travel. But guess what? I know every state I've ever lived in, I meet people that have never been to their capital, never been to the zoo, never been to the different museums, never been to the local beach or the local lake or whatever. Check out your own state, check out your own city. There, I'm sure you can find something to do in there and still have fun and not have to break the bank. So, you know?
Exactly. I mean, even where I'm at, we have an air museum that's
Mm-hmm.
free, and they say that it takes 2 to 3 days to really go through it.
Wow.
I've not been there. So,
Vanessa.
yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. So, the boyfriend and I were literally talking this morning about that. And we're like, okay, this is going to be something we do during the summer for fun.
Exactly.
We're going to go to the planetarium here. So,
Hmm.
there's so many weird little things you can
So
do.
many, so many.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
And
live in a
as you
DMV and
mentioned,
there's so many.
right. Right. Well, and as you mentioned earlier, Groupon. If you've
Hmm.
never been on Groupon, go to Groupon.
Exactly. And if you're a military person, there are so many websites out there to provide you discounts. And a lot of these museums that have a charge, or parks, amusement parks, actually offer you free or not really highly discounted tickets. So you should definitely check it out if you're military. So
Oh,
wow.
definitely. Yeah.
Any final thoughts? That was great. Stay K or vacay.
I think, no matter what, find something that you enjoy and do it this summer.
Mm-hmm.
If you have kids, it is a great way to get them out to see the world, even if
Yeah.
it's in your own hometown.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned so much through life by going other places and visiting and kind of seeing how other people live, that is priceless. So if you're not doing it for yourself, do it for your family.
Exactly. And I know recently I was looking at the map and I was like, we moved in this house 5 months ago and we still haven't been. And it's been nice. And we didn't really have a winter here in Maryland. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, we live closer to the water and we still ain't been to the water yet. What is wrong with us? Like, I mean, it makes no sense. I literally have a lake or a big old bay. We have a bay like a mile from here. And I still haven't been out there. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. So take advantage of
Yeah.
what's in your backyard, like I
Exactly.
should. And like Vanessa said, have fun. Find something you can do that fits within your budget
Yep.
and have fun. And I have to mention, we're going to be on a summer break throughout the rest of June and July, and we're in a part of August. But we're going to be resharing some of our favorite episodes. But we'll pick back up in August with some new, exciting episodes. Thank you for joining us today. This was so great. Staycay or Vacay, and don't forget to follow us wherever podcasts are found. And remember, it's always better Yahweh's way. Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the crossroads of religion and money. Also, we would love to hear your feedback on today's episode, so please leave us a review or just tell us what's on your mind. And remember to follow our podcast. If you have any questions or suggestions of topics for us to discuss, please email us at yahweh@crusaders4change.org. To hear all of Yahweh's Money latest episodes, please visit us at www.crusaders4change.org or wherever podcasts are found. God bless.